All right then, so we're going to move on and welcome our next guest, who is Jack Geron, founder and CTO at IT Care Center. And Jack will be talking about IT Care Center's single license model, automation first design, and enterprise grade functionality, empowering teams to deliver faster, smarter support without breaking budget. So welcome, Jack.
Thank you, David. So first, introduce myself, of course. I'm Jack. I'm one of the founders and current CTO for IT Care Center. And today in our session, we'll focus on how we leverage a single unified ITSM platform, both on the commercial side and especially at its design, to serve our business and IT goals. And we do that very fast. We'll jump very, very fast into the demo itself. But I do want to bear a few things in mind. And we'll start like a step-by-step journey that will just remember in mind our first mission statement as an IT organization. And of course I'll make sure that everything that I described through the slides will be demonstrated within minutes, of course. So again, starting from a step-by-step high-level mission statement, we want to assure, of course, that we'll see what are the essential capabilities such a platform needs to have to eventually transform our organization to be a daily enabler to the various roles for any department within the organization, not necessarily IT only. And it all starts, of course, from our first customer-facing objectives. So our first mission statement will be, of course, to support the business partners, right? And in the past, we used to interpret that in making, fixing their PC much faster. But today it's clear to all of us, of course, that it is not enough, right? We need to support business growth. I'll take a few examples. I mean, for example, even in any low-tech industry, financial departments, accounting, FP&A, are changing, right? Today, they acquire or recruit business analysts, data-driven people, even data scientists. Same goes with our marketing colleagues. I mean, they become even more digital experts than we are. In the past, we used to call them shadow IT and just to push them back. But today, we understand we have no choice, right? We need to engage. We need to be involved. We want to be involved in their initiatives and we want to be an enabler. So eventually, as an IT organization will be considered as a partner, as an IT as an asset, rather than just another cost center within the organization, right? And all the rest is derived. I mean, much more than what is listed right here. All the rest is derived from that. So we need to do things more fast. I mean, we need to rapid not only the recurring task that we do on a daily basis, which is becomes essential and I think an elementary thing, and we've seen that in all the demos, right? We need to just lose the time that we spend on break fixing things using AI agents, autonomous capabilities, self-service explanatory facilities. But that's the elementary thing. We need to focus on the growth. The growth comes when we release our resources to focus on their projects, to focus on new initiatives. And of course, one of our main indicators today is the automation rates, right? We've seen that in other demos. We need to be able to provision things faster, you leverage AI for new processes, engage more departments, become a better partner to engage and to leverage the organization to the next level. And everything, of course, needs to be digitalized, accessible from any device, anywhere. And not to mention, of course, all the security and compliance standards that we need to comply always on an iterative, of course, way. And the industry always changes, right? It always introduced new technologies, new standards, new UI concepts, and we need a platform that will support that. So the first thing we just identified, and we'll bear that in mind when we go to the demo, is that we do not necessarily need an ITSM software or a solution. We need an ITSM platform. The main or the biggest difference between the two is that the solution is designed to do whatever a solution does whatever it was designed to do, right? At the same time, a platform designs and implements our specific needs and keeps our initiatives in the best practice barriers, right? So we don't breach or do things that are not considered as common or standard in our industry. So this way we can, of course, provide the end user or any role in the organization um, a way to continuously grow and, of course, introduce new processes, automations, capabilities within his day in a life. So the way we do that is actually we thought back, of course, many years ago, and we said, okay, of course the generic name of what we need is a low-code platform, and what we're going to do is not necessarily to develop that because it will take a few years to do that, but we will focus on how you do things and not what you can do, because the answer when you use the platform is you can do anything, right? So what we decided to do is to adopt and embed in a transparent way a low-code worldwide leading platform. It's called Apex. It's completely transparent to the end customer, of course. It enables and it always continuously innovates. It's embedded in a transparent way that, of course, any IT organization or any organization at all can leverage on those capabilities. It comes with a very robust, of course, backend when it comes to high level or high available systems. So it's always redundant. It's enterprise scale databases, orchestration tools, integration tools that support even IoT transactions, right? So all we had to do actually is to make that transparent, meaning first on the commercial side, and then now I'm going back to our main topic is a single transparent licensing model makes it easier, because we know that the first and the biggest barrier of growth is budget, right? We don't and we can't deal with budget constraints on a daily basis at the same time that we want to build new things, and we need to do that first. We need to do that fast. We need to do that in an elastic and a flexible way. We need to comply with the standard and the compliance rules, of course, and security controls. But the most important thing is, of course, we need it to be engaged to all the various members in our organization, and it starts from the end user. That could be our internal employee or external customer, who will have, of course, a first or a single platform to join, and of course to look for whatever he wants, whether it's using an AI bot or just a self-explanatory portal. And of course, he will just use a single place to acquire anything he is looking for. That's for the end user. At the same time, for our fulfillers, which is the IT staff, HR staff, procurement, etc., they will work in a single platform rather than jumping between multiple tools, rather than us as IT make sure we integrate everything so they can just work in everything in a single place. And last but not least, of course, our management, whether it's the IT management, whether are the SLTs that are focusing on dashboards, and again, dashboards and insights are based, whether they are AI driven or not, are based on the data. And the data, when of course it's all centralized in a single place, whether it's transparently done by integrations or by definition when you use a single platform, then especially, of course, you provide those flexible KPIs to the management. So I'll jump to the demo itself.
Good.
So we'll start from a simple end user, okay? That will be his digital experience. And again, we're talking about multiple channels, right? That could be from my mobile phone, from my Slack, Teams, WhatsApp. And the first engagement will be, of course, landing on multiple departments. So if I start from facilities, let's say, or for example, as an end user, I have a broken electricity or something wrong with my air condition, I could, of course, use the portal or alternatively use the chatbot, which already comes with some suggestions. We know you have, for example, hey, we know you have a scheduled repair. We can drill to look at its details or ask for more information. Or at the same time, we can ask for an Outlook reminder to my calendar, for example. And if I'm interested in more HR-oriented information, then I'm focusing on my approvals. Maybe I have a new employees that are waiting for my onboarding approvals. And again, I can request more information and of course drill to more capabilities right here, use the AI assistant or not. And especially for IT. IT will be, of course, more complicated, more based on knowledge base, whether there are scanned PDF documents or articles. We of course integrate with various KMS tools or use our own knowledge management module. But at the same time, of course, when I provide my approvals, I can do that from the chatbot. I can do that from a digital signature if it is required. But let's try and utilize IT some common practices. So for IT, of course, I will be interested in my assets. I can do the same from the bot, and we'll see that in a second. I can, of course, review whatever I own. I can be interested in my organization. I mean, my direct employees tickets, requests to see whether it's stuck or to ask for engagement or escalation, or I can use the bot. And since again the bot will obviously start suggesting some information based on my, of course, my profile. I have a very old PC, so I can immediately initiate a renewal process or continue and of course review my tickets, my approvals, create a new ticket, or use the AI assistant. And here I can, of course, in a natural language describe my problem, but this time I'll just jump to Teams just to see what that we whenever we build, or of course a customer will configure his chatbot, he can immediately just expose it into Teams. And then of course it's either provisioned or exposed through his customer portal, and at the same time the same bot and the same configuration is applicable from Teams. And here same, I will use my AI assistant, and this time instead of just typing my natural language problem or request, I'll just take a screenshot. What we normally do is that we use multiple AI models for example, screen analysis. There is a specific or a specialized AI model that can analyze screenshots, can analyze text out of screenshots, and can find similarity to other user complaints, of course. And at the same time, I can get the user intent or just type his request, of course, or use those suggestions. And here we can, and of course, again, I will jump in a few minutes into the administration side, and of course see how it's all applicable from the administration side when you want to provision new chatbots and you want to control them, right? So we can multiple scenarios, multiple language conversations, and we can control them and expose them from a single place. So now let's jump for a second to an IT admin. An IT admin in our case, of course, will have same permissions to the same portal, will be a customer by himself, but at the same time could be a member of various departments, right? It can be part of facilities, which facilities normally will work on their calendar because they have need to schedule their activities to assign it to multiple people, see their backlog, focus on specific technicians. At the same time, our HR members will want to focus on their incidents, and then can of course work with their customized workboards, build their own logic, navigate to their SLA bridges, review the customer information, and of course drill to action from the same place. At the same time, IT will work on these either projects, support activities, and let's see some examples as well. So whenever we will decide, of course, to implement additional model, nothing, of course, will just scalably decide to provision additional modules, and will, of course, entitle the correct groups to use project management for facilities, for IT, for additional departments. And then, for example, for project management, I can build my board. So we're focusing not only what IT staff can do, but also what he can configure and build his own processes, right? Because we're talking about provisioning new processes, automating and documenting, of course, business processes at the same time. And we can always, of course, configure our workboards or build our own in a self-explanatory, of course, declarative way. When it comes to project and task, and whether it's of course support board, we can jump to that as well, and of course use the drag and drop. Here at the same time, of course, IT as a as an admin could provision additional portals, additional departments to onboard them to the system, and that is where we focus on how we leverage the platform and know what the platform can do, because again, it can do everything that we will tell you to do. So we can create a new portal within seconds, and of course it will be, let's call it SDI portal. And I can decide whether I want to embed it within my main portal or just make it a standalone one. And within each, of course, I will decide whether I want to use one of those various chatbots, which we'll discuss, of course, its backend and its capabilities in a second. So let's just include our SDI portal, and now it's actually ready to use, right? Of course, we need, of course, to do some more thinking, whether we want to create additional request templates, maybe to configure our bot in a different way. But as a default, we will have a new SDI portal, and we'll have, of course, some announcements that are relevant to our new portal. But again, that won't be, of course, sufficient, because I want to bring more automations into that. So here in our administration panel, we can configure new workflows, introduce them to SDI portal only, for example, and that's all to be done in a declarative way, meaning at a drag and drop where we can orchestrate whether it's integrations, whether it's a manual or parallel or sequential activities. And whenever, again, we will provision additional integrations, we will leverage the low-code platform to do that for us. So that would be my first onboarding process. But again, I can clone that and create my own SDI process for any other aspects. At the same time, I'm obviously need to create my ticket templates or my common language models, or my even common requests. So for that, of course, I will have to use um, our feature setup, where eventually we can define our own logic, enable some widgets which may be relevant to our new onboarded department. Maybe we want to manage their digital signatures, to provide some KPIs for their scheduling, provide additional information, or just even expose additional fields, or just customize our own uh, uh, provisioned fields, of course, within, of course, every template or scenario that we will require a user to add information, whether it's from the bot or from the portal itself. So that, of course, should support, and everything here is supported through the local platform. Meaning, if I want to integrate my query to a third-party system, I can embed a third-party API right here. Uh, Introducing again our new chatbot. So of course everything comes with measurement. If you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it, or see your utilization when. But it's more important that we can control what our bot does, right? So if we'll just look at our facilities bot, we can easily understand that, of course, it's a drag and drop based UI that we can manage all the conversation, whether we want to explore some more information about our user, what country it comes from, how many SLA bridges does it have, so we better know to suggest, to provide, of course, in advance suggestions for our end user. But eventually, we can automate everything from here, because we can query additional information, we can save our states within the process and utilize them later on when we want to call to action. For example, invoke an API, which again is built on a declarative platform, which you don't necessarily need programming or any API skills. And here, eventually, we can do the same like we've done in Teams. We can go from one scenario to another scenario. Let's say if we want to request for our IT assistant, we want to request, let's say, how to install Firefox. And here again, that could, of course, lead to multiple use cases. In some of them, we will decide to use a large language model. In some of them, we will want to use, of course, our internal knowledge base model, which eventually we can train from the training center within the tool itself, right? I'll just think, okay, and last thing is going back, of course, to all our agenda. So again, to summarize, the main thing is that we're focusing on a platform. The platform provides capabilities. As an administrator, of course, a skilled user, you can provision more and more automations, more and more departments to onboard them to the platform itself. Um, of course, the platform itself always upgrades itself, whether it's on a SaaS model or it's on an on-prem. We of course comply with on-prem customers. We will work with public sectors, military, defense, etc. But at the same time, we leverage on the local platform that continuously improves, continuously introduces and aligns with the industry standards, technologies, whether it's AI, whether it's user interface. Of course, cloud goes without saying. And at the same time, you don't need to worry about budget. That means that we have a single license model. Everything is included. The platform itself, all models are included. Of course, no additional licenses requires whether it's end users, external customers, approvers, number of assets, transactions. Nothing is limited, so it assures you can always grow with the system. Okay, so David, I'm ready for questions.
That's great. Thank you very much, Jack. Really, really interesting. Really interesting. So that the whole how have you built that on Apex? Is that built from Apex? It's a pretty cool proposition. That. Go on, you. Sorry, go on, you.
No, let's go ahead. I think I got the question. So again, we are provisioning our platform through Apex. So it's completely transparent to the customer. I mean, it's all in the back end. A customer may, of course, log into the platform itself, even if it's on a cloud model or a SaaS model. He can use the platform to build his own enhancements using the Oracle community or using our support services.
Yeah.
That's why, of course, every upgrade includes an Apex upgrade, which comes with the new innovations, new AI capabilities. And then, of course, you just focus on how to do things and whether you can or not do them.
And I've got this, if you look at the near future, far future, whatever, right? I've got this sort of thought about where we're going, and ideally going down to sort of full stack service desk. Maybe not called a service desk, but a full stack sort of next to the customer, right? So this kind of technology sort of really suits that model. So it's active, it's on demand, right? It changes, as and when you need, as the business needs changing. I've also got this sort of theory around end users being in a safe environment where they can create their own things, and that means if you look at this, the opportunity for an end user, not IT people specifically, there are guardrails in place. There's let's call the organization, instead of an enterprise, a sandbox that people in a user environment can play with to create value and then deliver the value for themselves or for the rest of the organization. Is that something that this system could do now, or is it something that you're looking
absolutely.
on the roadmap? Yeah.
No, absolutely. Every department will have his own admin. Sorry, sure. So every department, of course, that is onboarded. I mean, I just used a simple clone to create a new department, but of course there are some more thoughts to put into that. So we can define a new administrator for that department, and it's completely segregated. I mean, he will define his rules, his automations, his processes, his categorization, his forms, and of course we encourage them to do that because it's intuitive. It's built for not necessarily for IT. It's built and designed for of course, a skilled administrator. But we see that from our customers. So not necessarily IT only maintains that and then provides new capabilities. It's definitely across the multiple departments.
Yeah, and I think I spend a lot of time playing with these tools. Not Apex, but if you look at more user orientated, I suppose, if you think of things like Replit and Cursor and Windsurf, Lovable, Bolt New, N8N, and all these give me as a user something that I can build in a safe environment. And I just think that's the way it's going. So it's really interesting to see that being played out in some capacity. It might not be completely, available for an end user now, but I think that's where this kind of stuff will be going. That the engagement of the user community around Apex. So I'm assuming you've got some input into that as well. How big is that community? How available are resources and documentation so that community can be active?
So absolutely, it's a very wide community. I mean, Oracle provisions all its applications, customer-facing ones, hundreds of ones to their customers, but not only that. Largest enterprises like General Motors to Coca-Cola. Sorry, I need to go to a commercial break. Are adopting those, and of course they build it for homegrown platforms, homegrown systems. What we found is, of course, we can leverage that, right? The community serves both ways. It's we of course contribute a lot to the community itself.
Yeah.
We provide our knowledge. We are of course very deep experts within the platform itself, and we provide that kind of support even if a customer wouldn't like to go to the community. But of course it's very wide. It's of course available in a public way, even if you're not an Oracle customer.
Excellent. Very, very interesting, Jack. And thank you for the demonstration. And I'm hoping we'll see more of this kind of stuff very soon. And I think I think I'm going to take a good look at the proposition and see if I can sort of figure some of that stuff out as well, which is really, really cool. Well, thank you very much, Jack.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.